Hello, it's a new day. It's actually Tuesday. I'm in the garage. It is cold outside. I got the heat on in here. And I'm going to clean up a little bit more so that I can get over here to the transmission. And we're going to put a transmission together. But I'm going to put you guys on the stand and make some room. And most of this will probably be time-lapse, but I'll give you guys updates a little bit along the way. So let's get to it. So it's been a while since I tore this transmission down and rebuilt it. I've already done the kit, right? I bought a Monster in a Box kit from Monster Transmission, and transmissions are complex. Like, I knew that going into this, but man, are they complex. and it's not so much the complexity of pulling one apart and putting it back together. It's the complexity of knowing which parts need to be replaced and need to be replaced with what part numbers. That is the technical aspect of it. That's what's complex. So ordering from Monster Transmission really alleviated the vast majority of those issues, because they send you everything you need to replace, whether your transmission needs it to be replaced or not. It's a complete rebuild. All your friction plates, anything that is a wear and tear item or is a common failure point, you get new components, and it literally sends you everything. What it doesn't do is give you instructions. And so what I've done, and what I did when I did the teardown, and what I've done throughout this build, is YouTube University. And so I followed a guy, a YouTube channel called Nick's Transmission. Very knowledgeable, very thorough, lots of very, very long, detailed videos on how to do teardowns for all sorts of transmissions, how to rebuild them, how to put them back together, what to look for, what can be ignored, different modifications you can make depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Wealth of knowledge. If you haven't seen his stuff and you're thinking about rebuilding a transmission, I strongly encourage you to go check out Nick's Transmission. And so that's what I'm going to do. It's been a while since I did all of this. I got to a point where I started putting it into the case, and the tolerances weren't where I needed them to be. And I wasn't ready to tackle that yet, and now's the time. So I'm actually going to pull up Nick's channel again, pull that video back up, walk through it, make sure I do this correctly. So that's what I'm going to be referring to throughout this video. But I'm going to put you guys back into time lapse. You guys can watch me do this, and I'll give you guys updates as I see fit. All right, so I just wrapped up part 1 of Nick's 4L80E rebuild series. It's the basic rebuild. And so we've got our output shaft in. It is a little tight, but I just did the air pressure check, and you just put it into this hole right here, and it locks up, and I can see the drum moving. Everything feels pretty good. Mine is definitely tighter than his, but I can move it. I think it's just because I'm using, this is a basic rebuild, and then this is a monster transmission rebuild. So I think it's just tighter tolerances. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I have to tear it apart again. Alright, I'm going to attempt to show you guys the problem that I'm having. This band, you want it out, right? You want it to stay out as tight as you can, while keeping it on this dowel right here. There's a little, this stays on that dowel. And you have to set this in there and get it to go inside. And so you can see on this side it's in, but on this side you can't see, but it's resting on top. I've got it, but I don't know that it's all the way in. So I'm gonna fiddle with it. But I at least got it past the drum, sorry, the band. I'm gonna fiddle with it a little more, see if I can guarantee that it's all the way in before I move forward. What I did was I used a screwdriver to pry open the band and hold it in place, and just kind of nestled my hand in there and then dropped it down in, and then gave it a little spin. To align those intermediate clutches. Now, Nick mentioned that there is a tool, and I saw him use the tool, and he said that you don't need to use the tool. But I can tell you, without the tool, it's kind of a pain. You have really strong grip strength. And then this right here seems to do the trick as far as spinning it. I think I'm in. I'm gonna give it a full spin here. Maybe a couple of full spins. I think that did it. But as I was saying, that tool, he says you don't need it. I was ready to buy it. Because I was struggling, and yeah, you don't need it. You just need to know a better way of doing it that he doesn't really go into detail, because he didn't have to. He had the tool, so he didn't have the struggle that I did. So again, if you get to that, you know, make sure that you install, spread out that that band, intermediate band, and then once it's in place, you can use this against the lug to kind of pry it, and that'll open it up and hold it all the way open. And then with one hand, kind of squeeze your fingers into on those springs as you set it in there, and it'll drop into place if you just jiggle it a little bit. And because there's 5 intermediate plates, you should feel 5 drops. I'm pretty sure I've got it in there, but I'm sure I won't be able to move forward at a step if I don't. So we're gonna proceed. I got hit by the struggle bus again. Let me show you. This direct drive here needs to fit down over. There's a shaft down in there. It needs to slide over the shaft, but it also needs to squeeze between the clutches. So it's a pretty tight fit. And again, Nick had great luck. He said so in the video. It just kind of fell in place for him. And I've got another at least a half an inch to go. So I'm gonna turn you guys off. I'm gonna fidget with it, see if I can figure out the trick. And then if there is a trick, I'll let you know. If there's not a trick and I get lucky, I'll let you know. Okay, I got it in. I took a little break. Had a seat, had a drink. And came back and it's in. So the secret is, if you're frustrated, stop. Walk away. Go calm down. Working on things when you're mad or frustrated, just not a good idea. You end up breaking stuff. Been there, done that. So just take a break. Walk away. Come back with a fresh mind, better attitude, and hopefully things will work out for you. Just keep trying, wiggling, spinning, all that good stuff. I think it's in. It definitely went further this time than it has any other time. I guess we can check real quick. I'm just gonna. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and put this bad boy in here. I think it's a T40. Indeed it is. Everything else has been 18 pounds. I don't remember what this one is. I'm going to check real quick. Okay, it's 12 foot-pounds. I over-torqued it. I believe we are ready . Okay, so yes, I do need a selective washer here. I'm going to start with the thinnest. Set that in there. Need to grab our paper gasket. I'm going to use a little petroleum jelly on my fingers to kind of make it stick. It says this side up. All right, I think it's time for the pump. I'm pretty sure it's those Teflon rings on the output shaft. Sorry, the input shaft. I'm not sure how I want to do this now. So I think the problem is that I rebuilt a lot of this a couple months ago when I thought I was going to throw it together and have it ready to go, and just other things happened, and so I think the Teflon rings have kind of swelled. All right, so I'm not convinced that I can get those ceiling rings to close up. And so I went to a bunch of part stores and finally found a transmission shop that had some. These are the Teflon ceiling rings that I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull those off and try to get these on as cleanly as I can. And then I'm gonna get something thin to go around it that I can clamp. And then I'm gonna clamp it and leave it for about 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and quickly try to put this on. And hopefully that does it for us. All right, take 37. The vinyl didn't work. I looked at a couple videos and saw somebody suggest taking a Coke bottle or soda bottle and cutting out a chunk of clear plastic from it because it automatically wants to curl, and it's thin but rigid. So we're gonna give that one a shot now. I do feel like the top one's in good shape. The bottom one is just, it's fighting me for some reason. I have one more left. It's not ruined. I'm gonna try to fix the one that's on here if I can. And if not, we will try one more time. I feel pretty good about that one. There's one spot that doesn't have a whole lot of pressure on it. I'm just going to put pressure with the screwdriver with my finger and just kind of help. I think I'm actually going to leave it for a couple hours. I think that's pretty good. All right, well, they look pretty good. We're going to see if we can make this happen. Wow. So easy. You literally slid right on. It went on so easy, I forgot I needed to align this. So we're gonna pick it right back up. 18 foot-pounds, 18 foot-pounds. Okay, and as I went around, you could definitely hear the difference. The case itself rings when you hit this and it's solid. And if you hit this and it doesn't, if you don't hear this ringing, then it's not seated. And so I went through, I tightened it literally with my fingers, all of them, gave them all a few rounds of a couple of hits. And then it was obvious I was able to tighten each of them down a little more. Gave it another couple of rounds, tightened them down again with just my fingers, until I couldn't tighten them with my fingers anymore. Like, this is clearly seated. So now we're gonna torque them to 18 foot-pounds. We have a complete case. All right, quick update here. So we've got this in. We have 8 of 9 check balls. This little divot right here, you'll see where the one's missing right there, dead center. The It's only used in some applications. It doesn't say which applications, but I know mine didn't have it, and it's not supposed to have it. Yours might, no clue, but all the other 8 locations have it. And then right here, there you go, the little pickup pre-filter, I think is what that's called. But that's all in. We're gonna keep going. All right. At some point, camera stopped recording, or maybe I didn't record, but I threw the last of this together. Some things that you need to realize if you're following Nick's transmission to rebuild your 4L80. It's a 3-part series, and it does not cover reassembling or rebuilding your valve body. He has a separate video for that. Okay, so go watch that. Otherwise, you're going to be confused when it's time to put it together. He just basically just sets it on here, right? Because it's already assembled because of the other video. Another difference that I noticed between his version and mine, I think his was an earlier model. This is a later model. And the oil pickup still comes out of here, but it only goes to here. And I think on his version, it came back here somewhere. And then lastly, he had a piece that looked like this that went back here, and he said it was for the dipstick stop. I thought that's what mine was. It's not. Mine belongs here. And you don't want to go to the trouble to install this because you just have to take this back off, right? You can't get this nut out of here with this in place, and it goes over your other bracket. So you can see the park bracket right here. This goes over it, and it kind of holds this in place. So this goes in, you put your manual selector shaft in here, you bolt it all into place, then you put this on, then you put your valve body on, then you do your electronics. Another thing that he didn't mention is on these bolts, there are 10mm and then there are 8mm. The 6 8mm are for this, and all the others are your 10mm. So you'll go through, you'll tighten all of them first, and then you'll put this in and torque it down. It is late on Tuesday night, and I've got editing to do to get this ready for upload. I'm probably going to spend most of the day tomorrow getting content compiled and edited and get that stuff ready to go. And so the rest of the drive line will be in next week's video. And in theory, the last of the electrical and fuel will be in next week's video as well. And we'll be done taking it for a test drive. So that's the plan. Again, if you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you guys. We're right under 600. We should hit 1,000 this month. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Share. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share with your friends. Like, comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.